Okay, so I thought I would make a quick video about appliances and like which ones to own and why, um, and then post it because sometimes I'll like post recipes and I use appliances and then people are like, well, I don't want to spend all that money on that appliance. So I thought I'd just quickly kind of talk about like which appliances I find the most useful and why I find them useful. Um, and then maybe do something with like kitchen toys and gadgets too. But so this is a Cuisinart griddler, and it is well loved. We actually can't use the grill side anymore because I could buy the replacement plates, but I don't want to spend the money on them. Just waiting till this dies. This is our third one. But essentially, it's a panini griller, but you can make bacon, eggs. It's a griddle of any kind, and then it grills literally anything, and then it also griddles or panini presses things. This is, I think, the $80 version of it. They have one that's a little more high tech for, I think, a couple hundred. And then they have one that doesn't have removable plates. Don't get that one. I got that one. It's like $40, but it is a beast to clean and not worth the trouble. It's much smaller, so I guess if you were... No, I can't think of why you wouldn't want to clean it that way. So this is my Instant Pot, and I loved my crock pot, but I wanted the functionality of the pressure cooker because of the time, and that decision has been life transforming. If you've heard people talking about it, that's why. It's because you can have crock pot like stews and meats and different things, and literally like 15-20 minutes. You have to be careful about pressure, so knowing how to depressurize it is a very important aspect of it, and being safe and thoughtful about that part. But if you forgot to pull out your frozen chicken, or if you just decided that you wanted a soup, or like I make Charlie's dog food in this with quinoa and lamb, and it takes like, where I used to like spend like a good hour over the stove like with the various ingredients, now it takes me like 15 minutes. So it's worth it. Worth every penny I spent on it. I think I got it on sale at Target. So this is our toaster oven. We don't have a microwave, so but this, you see, like one of the things about toaster ovens and me and being clumsy is that I burn myself a lot on the toaster oven. So I didn't do that because I got this one, and I got that at Target. It's a Hamilton Beach, and it's been a nice little toaster oven. So definitely worthy. It fixes all of our lunches. John just comes and pops a tray, Pyrex dish in there, and that's what he usually has for his lunch. So the next thing I have is my Cuisinart stand, or not hand mixer, not stand mixer. And why that's important is because I actually take the what do you call them? The little whippers, little whips, and I stuck it for dinner tonight. I made soccer taco chicken, which is like, I took a bag of frozen tricolor peppers, a white onion, and probably the equivalent of like 4 or 5 chicken breasts, and some Rotel tomatoes, and some of my homemade taco spice that I make. And then I put it all in there for 15 minutes on the Instant Pot and a poultry thing. It was done cooking. I let it hang out while I finished cooking everything else for another 15 minutes. And then I took this and shredded all the chicken and just stuck it into the pot and shredded it after I depressurized it. So why I use that and why it's out. And then that's literally the only thing I use it for consistently, although you can make whipped cream with it. I don't recommend it. And then this is the only food processor you will ever need to buy. It is expensive and worth it. You will not replace it, and you will hardly ever replace the blades. And I've cut chocolate and pesto and nuts, and I can't even think of all the things I've cut. I make my deviled eggs in there every time. The stuff for the piping for the deviled egg thing. And so yeah, just has 2 buttons. I think I showed you that on the butter if you watched the butter video. So worth it. This is a big expense. Worth it, but if you don't want to do that, get that one and just get a good one. I mean, I think even my mom had like a Hamilton Beach or something for like decades. Like, so, you know, just looking up and seeing what the ratings are. And I know that companies don't make the quality that they used to make, so that's unfortunate. But KitchenAid really hasn't stopped. My first one lasted me 16 years. I probably whipped with it or did something with it every week, if not like 4 or 5 times a week. That has not changed because on keto diet, we eat this every single night. This is a portion of heavy whipped cream. That's our dessert every night. And we have 2 chunks of Ghirardelli chocolate, the dark chocolate, and then we have like a 1/4 cup of berries with that. And been on keto, lost 42 pounds now, and like never get tired of that dessert. It's so good. But because we can't find whipped cream without sweetener in it somewhere, right? So we just make it all the time in this thing. And then this is a KitchenAid blender, but you can, of course, like the Vitamix blenders, I think are nicer. I just found after years that it was just good for me to just have a good quality blender because I don't actually blend that much. So in terms of making sauces and soups, I have this, which is a stick blender, and I think that works for me more than the blender. So the thing is about deciding about appliances and why I choose like the really expensive versions is because of how much I am going to use it. And so sometimes, you know, if I'm in a smoothie kind of zone, which hasn't been since I've been on keto, but I did use my KitchenAid. It has a glass carafe. This one was a refurbished one, and I think I got a pretty good deal on it. And I had to replace some parts in it. This is a replaceable part, and so if that ever goes bad on yours, you can go on Amazon and order one. And the gaskets and stuff are also replaceable. So that was important for me, was to be able to get it thoroughly cleaned and also to be able to replace parts of it. But knowing what things do and what you do or what you cook is the most important thing. So knowing that that I'm going to use this for smoothies, but I need it to get clean because I don't want a stinky smoothie, right? So I want to be able to take apart literally everything and put it in the dishwasher. So I wanted a good quality glass carafe KitchenAid, or any brand that would have had a glass carafe, but I chose a higher end. And then Cuisinart stick blender, because I am going to use that thing. It's a workhorse. Cuisinart, just their motors are just really tough, and they work. And so I've had this one for 12 years, 10 years, something like that. This KitchenAid mixer is new. My old one wasn't bad. It just was kind of like the motor wasn't sounding as good. And I gave it to a friend, and if she had wanted to have it like repaired or like somebody to go in there and just kind of lube stuff up, I'm sure that would have worked out for her. She gave me $50 and I don't think she's had any complaints. I also just knew that I just wanted a bigger bowl. I got one of the bigger ones, and I also wanted, because it's under my kitchen cabinet, I wanted the kind that lifted up with the handle versus tilt up. So that was 2 of the reasons why the changes. So, And then I know that for chopping, I'm only going to use this for like big tasks that I just genuinely am not going to want to chop. So I'm not going to sit there and chop basil for 2 hours. So I want it to cut, and I want it to cut quickly, and don't want it to just bruise things. So that blade in there is super sharp. It's amazing. It's always been amazing. And it comes with other blades for shredding and slicing too, which I've found very useful over the years. So, but yeah, there's like the thing about appliances, and like people are always like, well, I don't have a lot of appliances, or I don't know if I want to get that. And like, honestly, if you're thinking about eating healthier, microwaves are literally the worst thing for your food. It genuinely deprives your food of its nutrients. So even if you were just to get one or two of these appliances and make an investment, you will not have to pay that again. Like the stick blender is like 10 years old. This Cuisinart, we're not going to talk about it, but it's nearing on the age of my marriage. The blender, I feel like, is definitely older than Sylvia, maybe like 8 or 9 years old. This, I think, is the newest thing. It's also the cheapest thing, and I went through 3 other cheapo versions, and they just didn't last, so I just went with a Cuisinart and put it on a Christmas list, and it was $80-$90 or something, and it was worth it. And this puppy right here, can't tell you how many sandwiches have been made on it, how many meals have been prepared on it, because when I was at work in the daytime, Sylvia and John just used the toaster oven and the griddler for like all of their meals. So this is the newest thing, but if you have a crock pot and you're like, should I switch to an Instant Pot? Yes, the answer is yes. The Instant Pot can do what a crock pot can, but it can do more. And so that is why I would say it's a better investment. And, you know, donate your crock pot to, I don't know, some local charity or somebody who's cooking food, like Soup Kitchen or something. So, or of course, you know, just donate it to like Carm or one of those places. So that's it for appliances. Well, of course we have the coffee maker. Clean your coffee maker. Make sure that you clean it. It's good to do it. I just did ours for the first time in like too long, and I was disgusted with myself that I hadn't made it a priority. So I'm just giving you a helpful reminder. And then this is I forgot my new favorite. This is a milk steamer from Bodum, and it was only like $30, but it basically makes the frothy milk that you get at the coffee places. So if you put heavy cream in here for morning keto cream, or if you put almond milk or coconut milk, make a frothy, lovely, like hot tea or hot coffee. And then this is like a instant kettle or whatever. And I use that because I occasionally will do a little treat and do this, but we don't do a Keurig because they're really terrible for the environment. So we don't have one of those. But if you've ever opened up a Keurig like canister of like, if you have one and you're tired of putting all that plastic waste and in the trash, because a lot of it can't be recycled. If you open it up and it's like a latte version or something like that, it's literally just this powder. It's just a cup filled with powder, and it pokes a hole in it and blasts water through it, and that's it. So you can buy this for like $2 and something at Target, and then it's the same stuff. It's nothing special. It's my one like guilty pleasure trash food that I eat, and I have to only get like a half a teaspoon because of the carbs. So I do it with heavy cream, but yes, these are all like fun, some of the fun gadgets, but then like the necessities of gadgets. And I hope this is helpful if you're like wondering what to get and what they do. And then of course, if you ask me questions, I'll answer them.